Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be my review for the season finale of The Knick, Season 1, Episode 10, Crutchfield. And I was definitely very looking forward to this episode because of the cliffhanger of the last episode. I thought that was a great cliffhanger. I was really looking forward to seeing what would happen in this episode. And overall, how was this finale? This was a fantastic finale. Next season is going to be amazing. I can already tell it's going to be fantastic. Half the stuff that happened in this finale, I was not predicting at all, especially the stuff that happened towards the end. A lot of stuff, and, you know, definitely a very unpredictable finale. I personally loved it, and let's just get into it, because I thought this was a great finale. So, basically, the beginning of the episode was very interesting, definitely. We see Cornelia standing on a sidewalk. You see her kind of upset, and you see this carriage come, and Cleary's in it. And basically, we find out right away, she has decided to go through with the abortion. You know, even though Algernon doesn't want her to, she has decided to go through with it. And she turns for Cleary for help, and, he is delighted to bring her to, you know, she doesn't really know exactly who she's going to, but she knows that she is going to get an abortion. And, you know, they're talking a little bit. And then he brings her to Sister Harriet. Now, Cornelia is shocked, of course, because she had no idea that Sister Harriet is performing abortions. You know, she had no idea that she would do something like that. And I thought this was a very good reveal. I actually forgot that Cornelia didn't know that she performed these abortions. I didn't know that, I forgot that she actually knew that. So, it was a very well done scene, because here's the thing with this scene that I really enjoyed, definitely, was, it was Cornelia's reaction. You know, Cornelia is very surprised at what happened. She's kind of upset that Sister Harriet didn't tell her. And Harriet's trying to convince her to actually not go through with the abortion. Until it becomes clear, you know, she's saying, oh, you're going to get married soon, but she soon finds out that it's actually not her fiance's, you know, it's not Philip's, it's Algernon's. So, you know, basically she's going to perform the abortion. And then we see Zinsberg. Now, Zinsberg, of course, is the rival doctor at the rival hospital of the Knick, and we're going to get to what I think is going to happen with him a little bit later. But he is observing John performing trephination on a patient with a brain tumor at the Knick. And Barrow has invited him to perform a surgery there. But much to John, you know, John's not exactly happy about this because, you know, Zinsberg is his rival. Zinsberg knows what he's doing. And Zinsberg mentions that he's currently working on identifying different blood types, which is a revolutionary idea. And John becomes, and basically, you know, you can see right away that Zinsberg is definitely a lot more experienced in this than John is. He actually knows what he's doing more than he does, and, you know, basically, you can just see that he knows what he's doing, definitely. So, that was definitely very interesting. So, Everet then visits, Eleanor at the asylum, because, you know, he took her into that asylum, and he goes to visit her. And she is a shell of the woman she was, and she finds out right away that all her teeth have been removed, and that was definitely very surprising. I wasn't expecting that, and this is the only scene we get of that in this episode. I thought that was definitely very well done. So, Dr. Cotton believed mental illnesses is a site caused by sites of infection within the body. He pulled them out, and he insists on removing all parts of the body that are prone to infection to starve off mental illness. And he's even done this to his own children as a preventive measure. But here's the thing. This guy is crazy because he has no idea what he's doing, clearly. Pulling teeth of someone is not going to make them less crazy. So, definitely, this guy, you know, Everett's pretty enraged at him. I definitely feel next season Everett's mission is going to try to get Eleanor out of there. But she has no teeth now, so that's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with her. You know, she already has her teeth pulled out, and I kind of feel like this guy is going to start to sort of, like, torture her. What he thinks is going to be helping her is actually going to be, like, torturing her. So, this guy definitely seems like he's crazy. I don't trust this doctor. I definitely don't, and I think that definitely Everett's going to try to get her out of there. So, I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there, definitely. So, Zinsberg ends up performing his surgery there, and after this happens, John becomes obsessed with the idea of cracking it before Zinsberg does. He devotes all his time and resources to the research. He sends Birdie to find out what Zinsberg already knows, and Zinsberg is eager to share his notes with Birdie in the spirit of collaboration, provided that's what John is looking for. You know, he is so into this idea. And keep in mind, John is still going through withdrawal at this point. So basically what John is, you know, thinking is a bunch of nonsense, pretty much. You know, John is so into this idea, but he's not really the most stable, and it's not exactly going to work. You know, I knew that what John was thinking of was not exactly going to work. So, Barrow's having sex with Junia at the brothel, and Bunky interrupts him. And one of Bunky's men roughs up the naked Barrow for missing a payment. Now, of course, he's upset, which makes sense. Because, this was Bunky and Barrow's partnership. It's Bunky's girls. And, Barrow says, how dare you interrupt her? And he says, it's not yours, it's mine. And he says, every single one of these girls are his. And basically, Barrow is very incensed about this, and he's very hurting. So he asks John to call in his dep with Ping Wu. He wants, John to do something. He wants Ping Wu to do something. And he wants the Chinese gangster to kill Bunky so he doesn't have to go through this anymore. Because again, what has Barrow been so obsessed with all season? Money. That is what Barrow has cared about from the beginning. So John refuses. Probably because John is so into trying to crack the, trying to find out, what Zinsberg is doing. So, that's what he's so into at this point. So Barrow approaches him himself, and he's pretending that it's John's wish that Bunky be killed. And that was definitely very interesting, and I wasn't expecting that. So Wu is dressed in battle attire, and he kills Bunky and his men, and discovers the gangster's ledger. So basically now, Ping Wu tells Barrow he'll pay his debts to a new master, who I think is probably going to be that ledger. I think whoever that ledger is going to be Barrow, the new guy that Barrow pays his debts to. So the question is Barrow going to have as many complications with him as he did with Bunky? I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there. And then, basically, Gallinger, Everet enters the hospital. He's enraged. He attacks Algernon, and it's crazy at this point. He's basically lost everything, including John's confidence, and blames Algernon as the root cause. I knew there was going to be some intensity between the two of them. Also, speaking of Algernon and Cornelia, she tells him that she had the abortion. He's not exactly happy, but he tells her that they basically need to break things off. And, I kind of agree with what he's doing there. But I was very surprised that they broke things off, because I was thinking in this finale we were going to get a scene where Cornelia talks to Phillip and says that she doesn't want to marry him, when it's the complete opposite. He tells her to go marry Phillip because, that's what matters, and basically that's what matters to him, and that's what she should do. And basically, if they pretend like this never happened, it never did happen. But the thing is, I really feel like Phillip is probably going to find out next season. I don't know what's going to happen, but he sends her off to go marry Phillip. She's a little hesitant about it, but basically that's what happens. So yeah, basically there's a lot of tension, I said, between Gallinger and Algernon. That was definitely very crazy. I knew it was coming, though, because here's the thing. John wanted Gallinger, of course, Everet, to be, Algernon, to be his assistant. But he picked Algernon over him. So, obviously, he's pretty much lost everything. He's lost his wife. He's lost his wife's sanity. He's lost his child. He's lost, his position at the Knick. He's lost pretty much everything. So, I understand why Everet did this. And at this point, I don't feel it's out of racism anymore. I feel it's out of rejection. I feel this is him just being so upset, and I really feel like, I don't know what's going to happen with Everet, but I really feel like next season, Everet is going to be in full revenge mode. He's going to try to get his position back. He's going to try to get Eleanor out of the insane asylum. I definitely feel that's what Gallinger's mission is going to be. So that was definitely very crazy. And the thing is, he is blaming Algernon as the cause, which is kind of true. But at the same time, it's not, Algernon's fault. Algernon didn't say, he didn't force John to give him the position. John gave him the position because he just thought he was better than Everet was. And Everet needs to realize that. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen between Everet and Algernon. It definitely is going to be very crazy. So Bertie returns from his meeting with Zinsberg, but after seeing John's state, he decides not to share the research papers, because John basically is talking nonsense here. John is, as I said, completely obsessed with what he's doing, so he basically, it's like 6:30 in the morning, and he believes that each blood type is a distinct size. And Bertie disagrees. He's saying you have no idea what you're talking about. He's basically just talking a lot of nonsense here. But John persists on pursuing that line of thinking, and he decides to test out his theory on a patient. He tests out his theory on a patient who is this young anemic girl, and he sets up a blood transfusion between himself, but it fails, and the girl ends up dying. And at that point, I'm like, okay, this is not going to be good, what ends up happening here. So he immediately realizes his theory's inaccuracy and his own unstable condition. He realizes what he did here, and he's really upset. He's blaming himself for what he did. You can see he's just in such a bad condition here. And at this point, John realizes he needs to do something, definitely. Now, before this happened also, Cornelia and, it was, I think it was, like, Philip's, Cornelia's having a conversation with someone. I don't remember who it is, but she's having a conversation with someone talking about how their father is not who he used to be, which is kind of true. Her father's more of a businessman now. He doesn't seem to care as much about her. And people are trying to talk her out of this wedding because, you know, she doesn't really know if she wants to go through with it. But ultimately, she does go through with it. And as they're pledging their vows, she's looking for Algernon, but she doesn't see him. Because Algernon is drowning his sorrows at the bar, and very much like episode 3, this kind of ends like the end of episode 3, instead of, though, Algernon beating up this guy, he initiates a fight with a man who knows he can't beat. So he gets beat up pretty badly. That's the last thing we see of Algernon. I'm looking forward to seeing what happened to him. I really hope he's going to be okay, but I don't know if Algernon's going to be okay. I honestly have no idea if he's going to be okay or not. I guess we'll just have to see what happens, but overall, that was definitely very crazy. I wasn't expecting that. My other question is, does Cornelia really want to marry Philip? Does she really care about him that much? I really don't know if Cornelia really wants to marry him at this point. I feel that Cornelia is only doing this because that's her way out of this. She feels that's the only way to get out, and I feel that's why she's doing what she's doing. So, I don't know if she actually does want to marry him. I guess we'll just have to see. So, Cornelia and Philip, you know, I just read that. So, yeah, that's basically all we see of Cornelia. So then we see, after John's failed experiment, Lucy is rushing to find Bertie. She had a conversation with John about how she did not like the condition he's in. He was basically, like, forcing her to give him cocaine. You know, he was really upset about it. So she rushed to find Bertie, and they take in John's condition, and Bertie finally realizes his hero is a coke fiend. You know, we find out who they're going to bring him to, who is Bertie's father. And that was extremely surprising, because, of course, Bertram does not like John. He does not like the way John, you know, works. He doesn't like the way John is acting. So I was very surprised in seeing that it was actually Bertram that ended up helping him. You know, Bertram recommends a treatment facility to wear him off the drug. But, of course, I didn't think that this was going to work, because, you know, we know that Bertram does not like John. So I just thought that Bertram, you know, I was wondering if he was actually going to help him. I was wondering what was going to happen here. So they're riding up together. And John is saying how he was really close with his research, but Bertie says he wasn't. He wasn't even close with his research. He was off by like a mile. So I thought that was definitely very interesting what happened, and I wasn't expecting that. And just another really great twist, definitely, that he wasn't even close. You know, kind of makes sense, though, because, of course, he is going through this withdrawal. He is going through a very hard time. Obviously, his mind is not where it should be, and it kind of makes sense that, you know, he, did this. It makes sense, definitely, and I think that definitely is very interesting, in my opinion. So, the Knick board is convening to discuss the hospital's many problems, because, you know, there are many, many problems with the Knick right now. Many problems, and when I say many, I mean many. So, after a vote, they decide the best course of action is to move it uptown because, and that, I definitely think that makes sense. But here's my thing, gang, I really feel that Zinsberg is going to help the Knick somehow because he is definitely more experienced. And, you know, John's kind of jealous of him. I don't feel that John is going to be in the best position to work at the Knick as much anymore. I don't think he's going to work there as much anymore. So I feel that Zinsberg is definitely going to replace him. And maybe they're going to move where Zinsberg is. Maybe they'll even go in the same hospital. I don't know exactly where they're going. He said, you know, Robertson said was, we're moving uptown. That's all he said. So I wasn't sure exactly where they're going. I guess we'll just have to see. But I'm definitely very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. So the very last scene in the episode, we see the on-site doctors treat John with a new wonder drug to help with his cocaine withdrawal, and it is heroin. And that's basically how the episode ends, and that was an awesome twist, but you had to see it coming, because here's the thing. Bertram does not like John. He's not going to want to see him succeed. He wants to see Bertie get out of the Knick, so obviously, he's not going to help John. He gave John an even more addictive drug than, you know, what John thinks is that this is going to help him. Well, he's going to realize that this drug is even more addicting than cocaine. So definitely this is not going to end well for John, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next season. But what an amazing finale this was. This was such a good finale. I love this finale, and there's so much to talk about, so let's just get to it. So first of all, Everett. Again, I really feel like Everett is going to be in full-on revenge mode. He's going to try to get his life back together. He's going to try to get, he's going to try to get his wife out of the asylum. He's going to try to get back his position at the Knick, steal it from Algernon, maybe get Algernon in trouble. Maybe Algernon will be in, like, a hospital for, most of the season, because, Algernon was pretty beat up, so I don't know what's going to happen with Algernon, but definitely, I don't feel that Algernon is going to be in very good shape after this, definitely. I don't feel he's going to survive, the attack that he got. I don't know what's going to happen there. As far as John goes, John definitely is in a very bad state right now, and I really feel that this drug is going to make him a lot more addictive. He's going to get even worse, definitely. If he thought cocaine was bad, he has no idea what heroin is going to do to him. Because, of course, as we know, heroin is the most addicting drug in the world. And, if you guys don't know that, it's true. And, especially where I live. I live in New Jersey, and it's very addictive there. So, definitely heroin's a very addicted drug. He needs to know that, and I don't think that John realizes how addicted this drug is going to be. Because he feels he's addicted to, cocaine. He has no idea how much more addictive he's going to be with this drug, which I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what that's going to do to him. So, that's definitely going to be interesting. Cornea and Phillip, I was surprised they did get married. I wasn't expecting them to get married. I was expecting for Cornelia to confront Phillip, and my question is, does she actually want to marry Phillip? I'm interested in seeing, does she? So I don't know if Cornelia really wants to go through, went through the wedding. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But here's the thing with Cornelia and Phillip. She, of course, his father, of course, made a pass at her, so I thought that was the reason why she didn't really want to marry Phillip, and I still feel that somehow she is going to try to get a divorce, because deep down, I do think that she cares about Algernon, but Algernon, of course, is going to be in very bad shape, definitely, so we'll have to see what happens there. Barrow and this new, master, I'm wondering if it's going to be, Bunky's ledger. I'm wondering what's going to happen there, and if Barrow's going to be able to work well with him. I don't think he's going to be able to, but we'll have to see. Maybe Ping Wu and Barrow might be, maybe teaming up in the next season. I could definitely see that happening. I could definitely see the two of them pairing up, and I'd actually like to see that. I think they work very good together. And then as far as Zinsberg goes, as I said, I do feel Zinsberg is going to replace John in the Knick. I don't feel John isn't going to be in very good condition at all. And maybe next season, John's going to get fired from the Knick and Zinsberg will replace him. I wouldn't be surprised if John got fired from the Knick. I mean, he had no idea what he was talking about. He was talking a bunch of nonsense before. So I could definitely see John possibly getting fired from the Knick. I could definitely see that becoming a possibility. So, that's basically for my review. Let me know what you guys saw of this finale. I thought this finale was amazing. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I thought it was such a crazy, crazy finale. So many questions. And here's the thing, guys, with the Knick. Overall, this season, I love this show. This is definitely one of my favorite new shows of the year. I think it was just a fantastic show. And the thing is, as I said before, I hate doctor shows. I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of these whole, patient of the week. But this show is not even about the surgeries. It's about the doctors themselves. And that's one of the things I love that the show did. And I love the way we, each doctor, we found out more and more about them. And I thought that was definitely very, very well done. And I love that about the show. And another thing I loved about the show was how the show portrayed things like drug addiction and things like that. It was definitely very well done. And, the acting just got so much better as the show went on, especially Clive Owen. Clive Owen is by far the best actor on this show. He's absolutely fantastic. And that's basically for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of Doctor Who, which might end up not being a collab review, guys, because, and I'm going to explain why, I have a homecoming tonight, homecoming dances tonight, my homecoming dances tonight, so I might not be able to put my Doctor Who review till tomorrow. And if that does happen, guys, I'm sorry, but it's most likely not going to be a collab review of The Kid of Awesome. I like to do collab reviews with The Kid of Awesome, but, I don't think this one's going to be, just because of the fact that I have a homecoming dance, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to put it up before or after them, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens there. But, I'll see you guys in my next video, okay? And let me know what you guys saw of this finale, and the show in general, because I'm very interested in seeing this. And also, do you guys think this show is going to change Cinemax? I mean, Cinemax is definitely a lot more popular now, and I definitely feel the Knick next season is going to be a lot more popular in general. I mean, the show was renewed before it even aired, so that's it. That tells you something right there. So I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.